Hi everyone. This is just another video where I'm kind of demonstrating an integration with Notion and Google Assistant. So here's my repository called notion-heroku. You can kind of look through the README. The link will be in the description. But the gist of it is that it's a Flask application that's hosted on Heroku. And it basically accepts webhooks from if this then that. And I'm able to kind of send commands through Google Assistant. And so mainly this is just for like creating a new task and creating new notes. This does rely on the specific Notion template that I have already described in previous blog posts. But essentially this is kind of what I'm looking for here. I've got the current day, I've got my tasks database, and I also have my notes section. Right now they're just all empty. And in terms of like installing this or kind of setting it up, there's a easy like deploy to Heroku button, and that just kind of quickly sets up the application on Heroku. You can also just manually do it and kind of go through the normal process with Heroku itself. The main thing here is that you're going to need to have specific configurations set on Heroku, and I'll talk about that in a minute. There's the if this then that actions that need to be set up. So the repo also kind of outlines a little bit how you set these actions up. But yeah, basically just going to have two actions really, new task and new notes at this point in time. So let's just take a quick look at my Heroku application here. So it's called notion-heroku. And basically we want to take a look at the settings. And so there's these configuration variables, and I'm not too concerned with showing them here because they're all kind of truncated anyways. So essentially, a lot of these configuration variables kind of leveraged off of my previous project where I integrated Alfred with Notion. So kind of, if you already have that information set up, then you can kind of quickly put them in here as well. And so when this is kind of all configured, then the last piece of the puzzle is getting if this and that actions or applets kind of created. So I've got one for creating a note, and I've got another one for creating a task. Again, you can take a look in the README, it kind of outlines it. But essentially, like the main difference between the two of them is that one is using the add task URL, and the other one is using the add note URL. And along with like some of the difference in the key phrases that Google Assistant is going to pick up. So I'm going to use my phone here, and we'll demo this. Create Notion note, testing this out.
Testing this out has been added in Notion.
And so we can see that that's been added. Create Notion task. This is a new task for me to work on.
This is a new task for me to work on has been added in Notion.
And it's a little delayed, but that's just because it's doing multiple steps at once. So we have the title, everything goes next up, and then a custom tag that I have that just quickly lets me identify that this is a task that I've kind of imported through Google Assistant. And yeah, this is basically the project. To me, it's really useful just because I have a bunch of Google Assistant enabled devices, plus my phone. Basically always around me, so it just lets me quickly dump stuff into Notion, and then I can kind of sort it out later. Anyhow, I hope you enjoy this. See you later.